So the third video, we're going to focus on the 3 emotional systems within compassion focused therapy. And I really like this explanation of emotional states because it's really simple and it helps us to see a bit about where we are now and maybe what we could do to better support our future selves to be more compassionate to ourselves. So the first of the 3 states is what we call our drive system. And this is the system that kicks in to help us to be productive, to achieve, to focus on our goals and help us to move forward in our careers and the things that we want to do with our life. So it is an important system, but we'll talk a little bit more about balance with it in a minute. The second system that we look at is what's called our threat system. And this is the part of us that wants to make sure that we survive. So it's very much focused on a lot of the kind of old brain things around making sure we have food, making sure we can reproduce, and also thinking about that our lives are not in any sort of danger or threat. So this system again is very important for our survival, but it's important that it is balanced with the other systems. And again, I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Our third system is what's called our soothing system. And the soothing system is really important because it's the space where we feel safe. And without that feeling of safety and our nervous systems being soothed, it's very difficult for us to connect meaningfully with others, which is often where we get a lot of our sense of well-being from. So it's a really important system. And when we look at all 3 systems together, what we often see in today's world is that people have really big drive systems because we're kind of ingrained from a really early age that we need to be achieving, we need to be productive. We don't work really in line with the seasons and the way that our bodies have evolved. So we don't really rest very much over winter. We have Christmas and New Year's resolutions. So it's very much that our drive systems can be very, very big. If we think about them as circles, the drive system often can be very big, and that can be something that can really lead to people feeling very overwhelmed. And then because our drive systems can be very big, that can also then link into our threat system. So within the world today, we experience an awful lot of stressors. We have a constant kind of bombardment of news, things that we have to get done, but kind of almost impossible to achieve. So then there's guilt at not being able to do things, not being able to give everybody that they need, and that can really build up, and it can make our bodies feel very threatened that we're not kind of achieving what we need to be achieving. And then we also have things like traumas that people experience, which can often lead to our threat systems being really big and also kind of constantly on, so very hard to switch off. And alongside this really big drive and threat system, often we see really small soothing systems. So people don't necessarily have the skills or the capacity to give themselves that time to soothe their bodies. So we're go, experiencing lots and lots of stress and input, but we're not giving ourselves time to kind of cope and deal with that and to learn new skills that can help our bodies to feel safe. So a lot of what compassion focused therapy looks at is helping to develop and build that soothing system, and also to balance out a little bit more that drive and that threat system. So we're looking at ways we can support our future self by making changes in our life that will help us to be less focused on our drive and our threat, and making sure that we have a greater focus on our soothing system.